Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name's Ryan, and this is Developer's Garage. Yeah, I apologize. I may sound a little nasally today. There's nothing wrong with the mic, nothing wrong with your speakers, your headset, whatever. It is all up in here. It's all me. I'm trying to get rid of. Weather is playing havoc here in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, and it is throwing me for a loop, throwing my sinuses for a loop. And so I've been, for the past week, I have just been very congested and trying to get all this stuff out, trying to stay healthy, because if you didn't know, I am one of the crazy people that sold their house really quickly without thinking about where you're going to go after the fact. I mean, the price was right, and it's like, okay, you know what? We've been talking about it for 6 months or so, thinking about it, and somebody says, hey, we want to buy your house. And we said, sure, here's what we want. Oh, hey, here you go. That's what we want. All right, so enough about that. My friends.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday, getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
That's right, my friends. It is Friday. It is the last day of this work week. Hopefully it's the last day of your work week. If not, you got to be getting close, Take those breaks, take that little mini vacation of 2 days off, or whatever your schedule might be. So it's Friday for me. It's late morning here. We got off to a terrible start. My streaming machine ran out of space. So I've been uploading things to the interwebs. Actually been uploading them to YouTube. Trying to make space, keep space on there. And I've got enough space now for this stream and another one. That way I'm going to try and get ahead. I've got a lot of videos to upload to YouTube, so they're coming, my friends, and I will be posting them on Twitter. And right over there, right up there at the top corner, that's my Twitter handle. You can follow me, and I will let you know what's going on in my life, in the development world that I see, and whatever I feel like saying. It's Twitter. It's not just going to be tech. I'm going to do other things. I retweet some people. Got some great things happening there. So just hit the follow button, and I'll let you know what's going on. Also, if you like this stream and you want to know when we go live, we do have down at the bottom, we do have the Streamlabs countdown. I try to keep that up to date. Sometimes I'm not so great at it. I try to do the same thing. Wednesdays are the ones that are going to be a little up in the air, because I'm working with a partner, colleague, on a series of streams actually. So they build on top of each other. We started this past Wednesday, started talking about the Jamstack. So on those weeks, it's going to be a little earlier, 9 a.m. Central, 3 p.m. UTC GMT. So watch out for that. Fridays, I'm not going to change the time. We were late this morning because technical difficulties. That's just the best way to put it. So just keep an eye on that. But hit that follow button. It will definitely let you know when I go live. And hopefully I'm live. Last time we had OBS just crash on us. And luckily I had people in chat room who let me know, say, hey, the video's gone. What happened? But we got it back up. We got it going, and we're ready to go again. So I want to say hey to everybody out there in the chat room. Thank you for joining. Give me a shout. Let me know you're there. Let me know what's going on in your lives, how things are going on your Friday. But let's go ahead. Let's get started. Let's move on. Get my stream here. Let's go. First topic of the morning is, if you are in the Tulsa area, that could be Broken Arrow, Sand Springs, Collinsville, Catoosa, Bixby, Glenpool. I'm trying to get all the little towns. I say little. They're not really little. Broken Arrow, all the towns that are suburbs, technically, of Tulsa area. But if you're in that area, next Tuesday evening, this coming Tuesday evening, January 28th, I believe. Let's look down here. The Tulsa Developers Association is having another user group meeting. It's the first one of the year, and it's going to be in our new location. So check it out. I'm going to put this out in our chat room here. So if you want to join us, please do. I'm going to be there, and it's Tuesday evening. It's going to be at 61st and Yale. So if you know where our old location was, we are not too far from that. just a little bit different building and a higher floor. So don't worry about it. It's also election night. So it's when we elect our new representation. And I say new because it could be re-election. Our president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, they have all done an amazing job over these past years, because I know they haven't been doing it for just 1 year, but many. So come out, say hey, have some pizza. And I'd say pizza. I don't know what we'll have. Whatever our food sponsor decides to bring us. We've had chicken, pizza, sandwiches. You never know. But we will have food and some drink. And then afterwards, stay. Well, don't stay there. We're going to go across the street, and we're going to go to a local pub, have a few drinks, beers, cokes, teas, waters, whatever you want. Maybe a snack. It depends on if you didn't get enough for dinner or you just didn't like what we had. But join us. We go nice little conversation about, just what's going on in the community, what's going on with you. So it's a great old time. Sometimes we're out a little too late. I know my wife doesn't like it when I come back super late, especially because she's trying to sleep. So, but I won't be out too late because it is a school night for us. All right, so let's get going now. Okay, we're done with that. We're going to move on to the main topic for today. So last stream, we started talking about the Jamstack and what it is, being an architectural pattern. Let's bring this up real quick. Bring that over here. And I'm not going to go to... Yeah, is there a way to remove this? Make this bigger. There we go. Zoom. There we go. Fit that thing on there. All right, there we go. Pardon me. So we started talking about the Jamstack, what it is, why people are looking at it, why companies are looking at going to it or have gone to it. And we got started looking at Gatsby and React and how that creates static HTML pages for you ahead of time rather than at server time. And I just jumped ahead of where I really wanted to be. But so the Jamstack, the Jam in Jamstack stands for JavaScript, APIs, and markup. If you were here last stream, you know all about that. I'm not going to talk at length on it. It's just a little review for those who have not joined us last time. And I also I'm late getting it up there. It should have been up yesterday on YouTube in the last video, but it is on demand here on Twitch for the next 30 days, I think, 30 or 60 days. I don't remember what. And this is kind of this is the traditional way that we've been doing it for years. We had a web server, and we had all this server rendered code that would get rendered at request time. So the browser makes a request to the web server. The web server says, okay, I need to create these pages and return it back to them. And so it goes out and may call some app servers, may go to the database, may call some microservices. Who knows? Whatever you've set it to do. And so it's going to call that, it's going to generate the HTML, and it's going to send that back to the browser. And that's kind of a high generic level because there could be a lot more going on there. Now, people realize that this doesn't always provide the best user experience because you have that wait time. Every request then has to make maybe a ton more, maybe not. It depends on how it's set up. But it has to make a few requests. Few to a lot of requests. And that takes time. And so we try to build our things faster and faster, and we scale up our servers more and more, scale them out, get more instances, just so we can make sure our response times are snappy, but they all add up at the end of the day. And if you've been on a web page and you see that loading, that little loading screen, we're loading for you, that's what that is. And because once it gets that data back, then it has to render that page and then send that back to the browser. So people started realizing that's not the best case, the best way to do it. Back when we had just static HTML pages, that's when I started developing, was when it was static. Things were faster. I mean, you had resources that took time to load, like images and stuff, and we've solved for that by using CDNs to be able to distribute those and try to make them a little smart to cache them, as well as shrink them down to whatever your browser might need. But again, static was very fast in getting that HTML there and getting you going. Like I said, some resources may not be fully loaded, like images and stuff. But So people start realizing maybe we can we get back to that? Can we still keep the dynamic nature of our applications that we have with server-side rendering? Can we keep that? Can we get that server-side rendering stuff, but can we do it ahead of time? And you start looking at this, is there a lot of content that's generated that you're like, that could be done ahead of time? Such as just home pages. A lot of home pages are static. Very rarely do they have some dynamic content. And when I say dynamic, I mean that is always changing or could change at any moment. And so they started saying, okay, you know what? We can start generating these ahead of time. And so then came about static site generators. So static site generators would basically compile, take all this code that you develop and go out and grab all the resources, generate the pages, and generate static HTML for you, which could then be served up. So there's a couple things that's awesome about that. Because it's static, like images and other assets, icons, iconography, yeah, it's all static. So if that can be served up by a CDN, why couldn't your HTML pages be served up by that same high performance CDN that's serving your images? Turns out it can. And that's what we're doing now. So we have all these static pages that we don't need this web server anymore. We don't need, let me see if I can get a tool here to select. Here we go. Yeah. Well, it's not going to let me select. We don't need this web server right here. We can just use this CDN down here. So the browser just makes a request to the CDN to get the page. And the page already has its routings on it. So you don't need to worry about that. A lot of that stuff is pre-generated for you. So when you say it goes back, requests a new one, and comes back. It's very quick, very fast. Now, my partner at Onderbus, I'm going to give him a shout out here. And I don't have my bot running. That's something I got to do. I'm going to put that on my note list. I got to get my bot back going. I have neglected him, GarageBot, for a little bit, but this is my partner, my counterpart over in the Czech Republic, handles European market for our company. And I say that if you didn't know, I'm a developer evangelist for a company called Kentico. And my primary focus right now is on our product called Content, which is a headless CMS, or content as a service, which means if you know what a CMS is, it's typically an all-in-one solution that is very, I won't say very bulky, but it contains everything for you to be able to generate your company's page, your content that goes on that page, and has a whole management admin backend to go with it. It's all one solution. We've branched out. We've broken that apart. We've separated the development, the page development, from the content management creation. And so that's where we get that headless piece and the content as a service. So our content, and that's content with a K, basically handles the backend, the admin, the administration of the content, the creation of the content, handling the digital assets. It has a digital asset manager built into it. So that's what we're focusing on right now, is just spreading the awareness of that. And hopefully I got it right, but I think that's right. Let's look. Let's see. This is my partner, Onderbus, also known as Andre Polesny, and he is actually streaming me. Thank you, Andre. So check him out. Follow him. He's going to be streaming next Wednesday and take us on, do we just need static or dynamic? Or can we introduce some dynamic stuff, some moving parts to our static site? It'll be interesting. So I'll try not to step on his toes here. I know the answer. You probably know the answer too, because it's going to be, but how do you do it? So he's going to go into the whys and the hows. But we've talked about that. So that's the awesomeness of the Jamstack. So your browser makes a request to the CDN, and the CDN just returns static HTML. And a whole website, all the way, think of your sitemap, it's all pre-generated now. Ready to go, ready to just be served up. So that's cool. Last time, there are a couple of static site generators out there. There are a few. And I don't know them all. I've got Wow, Gatsby's where we went last week. We're going to look at Gridsome today. There's Jekyll, my actually personal blog, personal homepage, personal site, I should say, is actually running on Jekyll. You get that free with GitHub pages. So it will actually has the static site generator running there on GitHub pages and then serves it up from there. There is a way to go ahead and just upload your static HTML and have GitHub pages run with your static HTML and not Jekyll. But that's a future stream because I am going to migrate that to one of these new static site generators that I've actually grown to love. And I'll tell you why. Because Jekyll is just, in my mind, it's a pain for me to set up on my Windows machine. When I had a Mac, it was very easy. And so I really enjoyed doing my page there. But when I got put back on, or when I switched companies, actually, I got a Windows machine back. Setting Jekyll up on it it's not so straightforward as it was on the Mac. Now, with Windows 10 and the Windows subsystem for Linux, that has changed. I can now put Jekyll on the Windows the WSL, and run it there because it works much better on a Unix or a Unix-based system. So, I don't know. I'm going to try these new ones. I'm going to see what it's like to migrate from Jekyll to one new one. I don't know if it's going to be Gatsby or Gridsome. I don't know yet. We'll find out though. So, and I didn't mention it, but this amazing image that you see up here on screen was brought to you by our friend at Reverend Geek, or if you know him, David Neal. Is an amazing artist, and he's only getting better. It's like cheese, my friends. He ages well. It gets better as he ages. And that didn't come out right. I'm sorry, David. But if you understand that, you get the gist of it. He's just getting better. His drawings are amazing. If you see the little head of me, my head up in my profile on Twitch and on some of the other things, that was drawn by David Neal. And I saw him at KCDC, Kansas City Developers Conference, which is coming up, by the way. I say coming up. It's got a few months. 6 months. Yeah, sorry. And he was happy to draw it. And I was happy to give him some money for it because I was like, that's a worthwhile investment for me. I may have him, see if I can't have him do a couple other things for our stream here. I don't know, some thoughts and ideas here. All right. So there's that. This is just a more filled out drawing here of how you can set up your static site generation. You're going to the cloud now. I mean, all your APIs can be hosted in the cloud, and you don't really need a web server. And because you don't really need a web server, you can actually start migrating to serverless functions. I think that's kind of where things are going to start going now. So, sorry, I am looking other things right now. My wife's going to be coming home soon, so I need to actually probably go close my door in just a second before we get started, just so we don't get interrupted. All right. I think that's it. Give me 1 second. I will be right back, and we're going to get started with Gridsome. If you want to join us and you want to follow along, because I'll be honest, I don't have anything pre-set up for Gridsome yet. This is a complete, we're going to learn it all together. When we did the Gatsby last week, I've been exploring Gatsby a little bit. So I knew a little bit, and I had a little bit set up. But Gridsome, going to be a lot of the same concepts, but it's going to be using, instead of React, they use Vue as their backing framework. So I'm going to go ahead and, did I copy that? Let's paste this. So you can follow along here. We're going to be gridsome.org, and that's where we'll start in just 1 second. See you in a minute. All right. So we're back. Sorry, it took a little bit longer. And that's only because I decided to clean out the nasal cavity a little bit there. So didn't want to subject you to that piece. So we're going to get started. Gridsome.org is where we're beginning today. Now, if you've had any experience out there in the chat room with Gridsome and Vue.js, let me know what it's like, what you feel, what your struggles are with it, because I'm curious. I've never done Vue.js before, and I've only been doing React for a few weeks now. I've been doing a lot with raw.js, and a little bit of jQuery. So I am not an expert in any of these JavaScript frameworks. I'm a .NET guy, or I'm well versed in .NET and the .NET framework and how to write C#. A lot of the concepts I learned I know can be brought over to JavaScript, but the JavaScript feels like the wild, wild west to me, because you can do anything there. There's really no pre-compile errors. It's a lot of server. In my mind, yes, I know you can write tests against it. I got that. But it's all runtime. It's going to let me do whatever or write whatever I want, and I have to run it to know did it work, or write tests that run it to know that it worked. No compilation. So, all right. So let's look at this. So this is just all telling you about Gridsome, and that's okay. So we're going to actually go to the docs. So I actually have. I'll go ahead and close that. We'll go to the docs over here. And it talks about the introduction, why Gridsome, how it works. We just talked a little bit about that. That it basically hydrates into a Vue spa once loaded. Okay, I didn't know that about that one. Gridsome generates static HTML, which is what we want, that hydrates into a Vue spa once loaded in the browser. So this is going to be a single page application that's basically, like it says, hydrated upon loading into the browser, which is interesting because I didn't understand that. Okay, that's something different. This means you can build both static websites and dynamic apps, which it means you can build PWAs, progressive web apps, things that can run offline because it is a spa. It has all that already on your browser. Okay. Gridsome builds one HTML file where, I don't want to compare because I actually have a stream that we're going to do some comparison on in a few weeks. So Gridsome builds one HTML and one JSON file for every page. Okay. After the page loads, it only uses the JSON file to prefetch and load data for the next pages. Okay, prefetching, awesome. Uses the Vue router for spa routing and Vue meta for managing the titles you see up here. And is that big enough, folks? Let me make that a little larger here. There we go. With this stream, if you're new to it, this is an Ask Me Anything stream. You can ask questions, throw them over there in the chat, and I will answer them. Also, if I am too loud or I'm too soft, let me know. I will change my volume. I will get quieter, get better, or I'll get louder as needed. Also, if my fonts are too small, because this is my normal day-to-day machine as well, my fonts tend to go back down in size because I'm on a nice big monitor that's right in my face, and I like having a lot of stuff on there. So I will bump that stuff. I will try to make this stream as I want the stream to be beneficial for you. And if you can't read or see the content on the screen, then it's not beneficial. So I'm going to make the adjustments necessary. Just throw them out again. Just throw them out there in the chat. Oh yeah. And if you see me look over here, that's because I have my stuff kind of turned around. I need to do a little reorganization on some of my screens so it looks like I'm looking in the correct direction. And which means flopping some monitors and all that stuff. I think I'll do that this afternoon or this weekend, depending on how things line out. And that way, when I look at my hosting, my OBS screen, that it looks like I'm still looking a little bit off of you. So, plus it helps when I look over this way, I can look at the content. So, All right, so prerequisites, we have Node. So I'm going to pull open my PowerShell here. I'm going to cd out of that. And we're going to look at our Node -- version, I believe. And so Node is just a hosting framework. It's a JavaScript based framework, and it's used for hosting development environments on your local machine, and it's also used on servers. So, and I know there's a lot more power in Node. I'm not a Node or JavaScript guy. So install the Gridsome CLI tool. So I don't have Yarn installed. We are going to use npm. So this I haven't, again, before I had the Gatsby CLI installed. This one we need to install the Gridsome CLI, and I am using PowerShell because I like it. I like it as a command line tool. I for the longest time I had been a hard pressed command line, just the DOS prompt guy, because that's what I grew up using. And then there's a lot of nice things that are built into PowerShell, and it's only getting better. All right, so there you saw that was quick, 6 seconds. That's fast. So let's go back. What else do we need? Oh, hey, that's it. The Gridsome CLI. So if you're not familiar with a CLI, that's a command line interface. So that's what CLI stands for, which means when all these, we are going to work from the command line instead of in like a traditional IDE or like Visual Studio. That's an IDE where you right click, new project, all that kind of stuff. We're going to do all that from the command line, and that's what these commands are. So we're going to do Gridsome, create my Gridsome site. We're just going to copy, and we're going to go step by step here. All right, so it's actually cloning a default starter here. It's going to install all the dependencies. It's going to use npm to do that. So if you're like, well, I didn't put npm. npm comes with Node. So once you install Node and update your Node version, you're going to get npm with it. So don't worry about that one. And it's installing dependencies. Wow. That seems to be taking a little bit. Oh. I know why it might be taking just a little bit longer than normal, and that's because my internet cable has fallen out of my, I say fallen out, I probably hadn't plugged it back in. It's not in my dock, so that means my laptop's running off of Wi-Fi. So I still have good Wi-Fi, but not as good as being hardlined in. All right, so now we could enter our directory. So it gives me, you see over there, it gives me some instructions. I'm going to blow this up just a little bit here. I want to make sure you can read this. All right. And I'm going to shrink it down. Let it wrap. I'm okay with that. All right, that should be good. If it's not, let me know, chat room. We're going to go to my Gridsome site. Okay. I use tab complete. That's the other I like that in PowerShell. I think it's in the command line, DOS command line prompt. But I haven't used it in a while, so I forget. I'm old. All right, and then it just says, and I think this is exactly what our steps are. Whoa, I don't want to do that. I want to just come back over here. CD into that site, and then run Gridsome develop. Okay, which is what it tells me to do. So, but this one gives me another instruction. So these aren't meant to be run back to back. Gridsome develop is going to start your local development environment. It's going to be running Node in the background to handle the web requests. And then Gridsome build is actually going to, what you would use if you wanted to build a production site that you want to then deploy out someplace else, which we'll do at some other later date. All right, so I'm going to clean that, and we're going to use Gridsome develop. I think it's just develop, right? Gridsome develop. Okay. It's going to start up our Node server. Got a GraphQL schema, pages and templates. All right. All right, lets me know everything is ready to go. So we should just be able to navigate to this. I'm just going to grab this here. Hosting on 8080. And there we are. Look at that. That was actually very fast, very snappy. And even running locally, that is fast. Sometimes when I'm doing some of my server-side stuff, there's that momentary spinning as it renders stuff, but this was fast. It's because it's static. And let's use our developer tools here, and let's look at what do we actually have. Okay. Don't want to do that yet. Let's shrink that down. I'm looking over here, and I know it did not zoom in that. I can though. There we go. That's good. And we can see exactly what we've got here. We've just got a header. Got some no script. Okay. Oh, it's got the favorite icon. Hello world. Some classic text. And some references. And if you didn't notice, not once did I open up an editor, an IDE, to modify or change any of this. This is all generated with the part of the... go back, Ryan. When I created this, and I didn't, it's gone now. When I did the create, it actually cloned a repository from GitHub and brought it down. And then I just built it and ran it. No other things needed to be installed or edited to work locally. It just works. And so I've not opened the editor yet. So out of the box, I haven't modified or created anything other than the one little command. And now we have a Gridsome site up and running. So that's the power here. I don't have to have an IDE or something else running to make this work, make this happen. I know you can't see it here, but I don't have IIS Express or IIS running. None of that. It's running Node.js, and it's all static HTML that's just being displayed. I wonder if I can see that. Let me come over here. Let's look at the network. And let's just do a refresh on this site. And so here's everything, all the requests that were made when we said, hey, give me this. So you've got a WebSocket there. Now, I've not read enough into it, but this may have hot reload, meaning if I modify the backing file, the Gridsome CLI is monitoring those files. And when one changes, it then starts a rebuild of the site and then reloads and refreshes your page. That's what the WebSocket's going to be for. Localhost, that's just our local host. You notice I don't have anything else. It's probably loading index.html. I have an app.js file. So this looks very familiar from when I did Angular applications. So I have an app.js, some GraphQL stuff, some assets, so asset requests. There's our favorite icon, which I couldn't find. Some info, some XML, and some more images. So not a lot of calls, not a lot of back and forth, not a lot of chattiness. And we look at our sources, assets. We have our static JavaScript. There it is. We'll take a look at that in just a second inside an IDE. Close that, expand that. There's our VueJS page, our index VueJS page. Here's our static source. Here's our index.html. That's it. And what it does, it's loading some JavaScript. It's loading this app.js. And this is the SPA thing. So it's loading just a blank page. It's got a single div with an ID. And it's loading this app.js file. Then once that app.js file loads, it's actually going to start running some JavaScript, which is going to generate this page. Again, a lot of it should be pre-generated for you. But now we have basically a single page application running here. And so that JavaScript in the app.js is going to it's looking for this ID, and it's going to replace all of that with what you see on the screen here. All the HTML we currently have, which is not a lot. But at this point, though, I can make this app a progressive web app or a website that can run offline, an offline site. But I'm not going to. We're not there yet. We're just beginning. All right, so we've got Gridsome running. Oh, why did that shrink? My mouse is real funky. I really have a hard time getting rid of it because I love it. It's my Surface mouse. It's not a lot of complexity to it. It's very simple. It's very ergonomic for me, at least. And it works. But just the clicks have been terrible here lately. And as you can see, usually there's a little light that blinks on here that lets me know, hey, you need to change batteries. But so I'm afraid that this mouse might be dying. And I'm sad. I like this. I know, I guess I can get a new one, but I'm budget conscious when it comes to buying my tech hardware. I have to justify it. I used to not be. When I was younger, I'd loved having all the brand new fun toys, and I would go into debt to get them. Now that I'm older with kids, debt is a real serious thing for me, and I'm working my hardest to get out of it. And we're almost there. A little more coffee. It helps soothe the throat. All right. So where do we go next? So that's it. That's all that stuff. So let's go look at the core concepts here. The next thing on the page. And pages are created by adding VueJS. So let's actually bring open up our environment. And I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. So let's go. I'm going to use here. I'm going to stop this. And I'm going to run code. Oh, I have a little visitor here. My daughter and wife are back from getting their hair done. No. So, she likes to come. One of the benefits of working from home, I'm able to see them wherever. And sometimes we get little visitors here on Developer's Garage, and that's okay. That's what makes life. You got to meld all of this with family, and so. But okay, so I just because I didn't tell you what I did code dot, which is a shortcut for launching Visual Studio Code. And opening the current directory. So that's what the dot is. I could put a different directory in there and it would open that one. But so it opens our site here. And this is everything you get out of the box when you create when the Gridsome site cloned. You have all these node modules. This looks like a lot and it feels like a lot, but I'm going to tell you right now, these don't get downloaded to your browser. You looked and saw what we had in there, and it was the app.js. I don't have it running. Let's do that now. Let's build that back up. Run there. Let's come over here. HTTPS. It should be up by the time I get this done typing. Localhost :80. Oh, 8080. Nope. Did I not type that right? Oh, it's not S. It's not a secure site. That's okay. There we go. Do an F12 here. And we look at our sources here. And where was I at? Assets. It's just one little JS file here. That's all it's using. So all these modules, these are actually just used to build your static site, your static HTML. It's because it's going to run code to go out and prefetch some resources, prefetch some data to build these pages. So yeah, that's a lot. And then we have our source, which I believe Gridsome is using convention over configuration. And by that, I mean convention is components are stored within a components. Layouts are stored in a layouts folder. So different templates, templates have their own folder. Layouts are going to be like page layouts. And then pages. We're going to have pages. So evidently we have an about page we could go look at in a second. And so if you want to create a new page, you just create a new view file inside the pages folder. And that's a new page. If you want to create a reusable component, you drop it in the components folder. Same thing for layout and templates. So it's using convention, a naming convention, or a folder structure to define the different pieces of your website. Whereas if it's configuration, you have a JSON file or config file somewhere that has all the different pieces in it and tells them where they are. And so there are pros and cons to both. A lot of things are now going back to convention because I'll be honest, I'm one of the people, I don't like messing with config files. It's annoying, it's frustrating, and if you work with a lot of different technologies, you have to learn the configuration of all of them. Conventions is a little easier to follow in my mind because I can take a simple layout, I can take a simple site and understand how things work, how things are laid out, and where and how to find things. That was my problem with AngularJS. It was the wild, wild west there. Because you could have folder structures all over the place. It didn't matter. What it was defined in the JavaScript file itself. And so you could have one folder that had 100 different pieces in it. And so finding things was a pain. But that is my opinion. Please don't at me on it because you're not going to change my mind. Okay, so there is some Gridsome configuration here. I mean, just a site name, a little bit about the server, packages that you're using. It's okay. This actually contains kind of the scripts, like how you run and type things. So that's fine. Your README here. We've done all of that. So let's look at our index, our view page. So this is something that you need to note is when you have pages, they are view files. So Gridsome uses VueJS as its backing framework, JavaScript framework. And so in Vue, you have a template, a layout, and then you have a script that gets run with meta info for title. And that's in a script, and then styles. Okay. So let's go back and let's look back at the core concepts here. Pardon me one second. I'm going to mute my mic so you don't hear this. All right, and we're back now. I'm just going to look at my audio mixer to make sure. Yep, I got it. We're back. So pages are created by adding Vue components in source/pages folder. That's what we just talked about. So we can look at here. So we have that. So we could actually type /about. And there we go. Now it has the About Us page. Okay. And so you could have like a blog or something. Then you have collections are useful if you're going to have blog post tags, products, etc. on your site. Can be sourced from any headless CMS. So I'm going to call out there. We have my product I evangelize content.ai is one of those headless CMSs. And trust me, it's more than that because there is an amazing management workflow piece on the backside, which makes this a complete content as a service solution. So it's not just a headless CMS with a database that you have to go and update all that kind of stuff. No. And you don't have to write the admin piece. It is a complete solution from the APIs all the way to the back, to the admin side. I want to put this down in our chat here. Go check it out. Try it. It's got a free tier that you can go play around and check out the workflow. Also, check out some of the other videos we have down there. I think last week we explored using ASP.NET Blazor and incorporating that with content. We have a user group website that I'm helping develop and maintain, and we're moving that over to content. I'm sorry about the air quotes. Over to content with a K. And loading that all from there. And so that way my web development side can focus on their web development and my creators can focus on their creation without stepping on each other's toes. All right. Content APIs, we just talked about APIs or even markdown files by using source plugins. So you got your data sources, collections, go to post tag product, and you have nodes. Collections are stored in a temporary local GraphQL data layer. Very interesting. So they're using a local GraphQL data layer. We may have to look into that, but I don't want to move too fast because I want to make sure I'm getting things right. I'm explaining things. So talking about templates are responsible for displaying nodes on single pages of collections. Templates are in the source. Okay, so I would need something like this is where my style of learning comes with, I want an example, something better than this. Because this doesn't tell me, like, give me the use case of where I would use a template and how I would use a template. Layout. So layout, I kind of understand the layout. I mean, it's how you basically lay out a page. Layouts are used inside pages and templates to wrap the content. A layout usually contains a header and footer. So yeah, I get that. That's what makes sense. A layout makes sense to me. And you're just filling in the different pieces. That makes sense. Images. Okay, I think we all understand images. Ooh, this is interesting. So Gridsome has a built-in G-image component that outputs an optimized progressive image. It also resizes and crops in real time when developing if width and height change. So this is awesome, having that built in. So I will say I had when I first got started, I was still new, and I started doing some web development just because I knew I needed to expand my skill set. I started out doing desktop development. I guess I should have started by saying that. And then we hired a guy at our company. This has been a few companies ago that redid a sister company's page. It was owned by the same owners, but it was effectively a different company. And so he did that, and he put a nice image on the homepage. The problem is that was a 2 megabyte image. And if you don't know much about images, 2 megs for an image is a lot, especially if you're serving it on a web page. Because you don't need it near as detailed or as big as that. So when you would load that page, it would pull down that whole 2 meg before it would actually display it. And that took a little bit of time sometimes, especially depending on your connection. And back in 2008, 2009, we all know what internet speeds were like. They were much better than dial-up, but they weren't always the best. So having something that does and optimizes that for you out of the box, that is amazing. Linking, so when you want to basically move around the page itself. So you can think of it having a table of contents, and I can have the different pieces all on one page. I click on it, and it automatically moves me down. Or I can save a link with a hashtag in it, which goes to a specific piece of the page, and that way it will automatically bring you there. So I think that's what linking is. Maybe not. Maybe it links pages. Because the click page is already downloaded. Okay. Maybe it's just for linking between pages. We'll explore a little bit more. So that's the core pieces there. Okay, so let's go look at fast by default. What does that mean? So this is just more information about Gridsome. Progressive images, a VueJS spa app. SEO friendly, that's a new hot topic. I don't say it's new. It's actually been a thing. You want an SEO website because you want it to be able to easily be found. And SEO, if you're not familiar, stands for Search Engine Optimization. Means that when people like Google start crawling the web for new sites and stuff, and it finds your site, it can easily understand it and create some content to display in search results about your site. All server-side rendered pages don't always do the best with SEO, with search engines. So a lot of companies have made their business about taking your website and making it SEO friendly. If you have a consulting company that does websites, this is typically an area that you highlight because you're saying, we make this, or we can make your website SEO friendly. So this is a core product, solution, service that a lot of companies provide. And if you can get that now, you're going to save your company a little bit of money there, because this typically isn't cheap. Spa kicks in and only loads small code splitted JS chunks for next pages. Okay. Deployment. This is about deploying. It uses Git. You can use Netlify, AWS Amplify, Zeit Now, GitLab pages, GitHub pages. You can also use Azure. It's not listed here, but I'm betting Azure would work as well. It tells you how to deploy from the terminal, FTP, drag and drop. So we're going to explore a little bit of DevOps and with the Jamstack here on my next few streams in our Jamstack series. It's going to be a couple weeks before we get there. It'll actually be 2 weeks from this past Wednesday, about a week and a half. And we'll start talking about DevOps and how you can incorporate the Jamstack workflow into your DevOps pipeline. So we'll be going over that. So I'm not going to worry about that too much right here. Basic Gridsome. Okay. I honestly want a tutorial here. Maybe starters is where I want to go. So these are starter pages, plugins, blogs. I want a tutorial that walks me through. It walks me through doing this. And I'm not finding that. So there's the default starter. This is probably what we downloaded. Sorry, my jaw's bothering me right now. I mean, I got burnt last time. I got burned a little bit by not following documentation up front and just by exploring. And now that I want to follow documentation because I got burned, I'm not finding the docs I want, like a tutorial. So it gets me to that very next step where I want to go, okay, how do I start expanding my page, my stuff? Maybe if we jump to pages. Yeah, man. Okay. Not as easy as I want. All right, so we're gonna go back to my method that I've been working with learning. We're just gonna build something out here. All right. 1 second, real quick. I gotta clean out my sinuses again. All right, we're back now. Okay, let's get going. Let's just start seeing what we can do with our page here. So I'm going to change this to Hello World again. I'm going to save that, and I want to see, does this rebuild? Because that'd be nice. Hot reloading is nice. Hello World again. So it did do a hot reload. Oh yeah, look, if I looked at the timestamp, it would have told me that it did. It compiled successfully, like less than half a second. So, all right, so that's cool. So now we see that. Oh, I want to go see if there's a, I'm going to go check the marketplace here and see if there's an extension for Vue, because I'm not getting any syntax highlighting here. And I like syntax highlighting. It helps me see some things. And so I want to see, is there one for VueJS? Looks like there's a couple here. I don't know which one to do. I wish it would view tooling for, so what is this? So it's giving me a recommendation based on the files I've recently opened. Oh, I guess I can always uninstall it. That's kind of interesting that we've got two people that look like have the exact same extension. Different publishers. That's not cool. I'm not going to just do that. I see something there, but I'm going to go to VS Code extensions marketplace. All right. And I'm going to look here because I think I can get, oh, wait. No. Extension. Let's go here. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go to Visual Studio Marketplace. Do VS Code. Obviously, this is not a single page application or a static site, as you saw the nice little spinny. So, server-side code rendering right there, its finest. Let's look up Vue, because I want to look at some of the downloads here, some of the stars. See, I'm going to probably go with this one here. It's got 310,000, a VueJS 2 snippet. Those are snippets. I know snippets that will supercharge your Vue workflow. So Sarah Drasner, I follow her. I think I follow her on Twitter. She is a Vue girl. But I don't know Vue snippets is what I want. I want syntax highlighting. So I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with JC Busen, and we'll see what that one brings us. We're going to install that. Oh, I guess I could have clicked on it and seen it. You can tell I don't work with code a lot. Okay, it's installed. Okay, so let's come back here. Do I need to... Oh, wait. I want this. Did I install Vue Peak? I don't know what I clicked on. Wow. Okay. Okay, so now it's installed. Let's go see. Do we get some? There we go. Oh, I feel better now. When my little colors pop in there, it makes things so much happier. Oh, I gotta have some sounds for this stuff. Oh, there we go. Let's just do this one. Yeah, that's for my friend Rambling Geek. He usually pops in every now and then. But the Yabba Dabba Doo, yes, it's so nice when I get this. All right. So now I've got that. So now I can visually, in my mind, I'm starting to break this page down. Much easier for me to do. Let's go back to our files here. So we have an about page. What kind of page do we want to create next? Let's go ahead and let's create we're going to create some blogs. Okay. So we're going to see, we're going to go through this, and we're going to make, this is all going to be static here. Because I write blog posts, and that's kind of, my site has a blog on it, and that's what I did in my my Jekyll page. We're going to be going to Jekyll. Let's just see what it's going to be like. So we're going to create a new page here. I'm going to right click, new file, and we're going to call this blog.vue. And what this is going to do, the blog is going to actually allow us to expand this until you start checking out layouts as well as templates. Because I'm curious at how some of this works. And I want to see how this works. So we have our blog. Okay. Now, let me go back to, I'm going to go back to my instructions here. And I want to look at the pages real quick. And I want to see, is there a specific structure that I have to have for a page? Okay, so I have to have, looks like I have to have a template. Looks like I can create them programmatically. We're not there yet. We will be at some point, but we want to actually just create a sample page. How to create pages for single blog posts. Let's go look at that. That's going to be under collections. That's using, I don't want to use WordPress, be honest. Because I'm not going to use a WordPress site. Now, I do have a buddy that has some WordPress sites, and this might be something he does, because it can use collections from a WordPress site. He's been looking at the Jamstack and potentially how to migrate. So my buddy Joe Young, this might be interesting to him, having a WordPress plugin that allows you to just use the data from WordPress. So, but that's not what we want to do. This is where we're going to get to, but I'm not there yet. I'll be honest, this was not what I thought it was going to be. Read more about how to create pages for single blog posts and etc. I expected a different post. I expected a different page that highlighted this a specific example and not just a link to the collections page. I think there's some documentation improvement that can happen here, my friends over at Gridsome. So if you are watching from Gridsome, please take that down as a note. This, you talk about this, but then you lead me to something that there's a lot of inference that has to go on when I make that jump. And I'm not quite there yet. I was looking more for a step-by-step tutorial or a blog post, something. All right, so we're going to need to create a template, it looks like. So let's go create our template. Sad, it doesn't try to complete that for me. Excuse me. Okay, and so in here I have basically my HTML I want to put in here. /div. Okay. Just making sure my lighting is good. I did a little rearranging. This lighting array seems to be working much better. And we're going to create an H1 here. And we're going to just say blog. Close my H1. I really like my completing. So if you have this extension, just little completions here would work. But I guess this may be only a syntax highlighting. Maybe it's the snippets one I want to install. Let's check that out. I'm just going to save this real quick. And let's look at that. Because it should now be as simple as hello Gridsome blog. Now I have my blog. Perfect. That's it. That's what I expected. But I'm going to come back here. I'm going to look for an extension. I'm going to go back to Vue, and I'm going to install these snippets from Sarah Drasner. It's going to have So these are just snippets. Okay, so these are just code snippets. I'm going to put that in, but I want completion. I don't want just syntax highlighting. I want autocomplete. And I don't seem to have that. I thought I had that when working in another file type, but not here. So let's install this. Which looks like it may have a dependency on Vue tooling, because it's installing both of those. Or VS Code's being weird. Maybe. Oh, there. Dependencies, Ryan. Yep. There we go. Okay. That's all right. I wonder if this had no dependencies there. Okay. So let's go back to our blog here. So we have blog. And we're going to have... I'm going to have a div here. Give it ID equals... I'm just going to have a div. We don't put any of that in just yet. /div. And this is going to be paragraph. Paragraph? No. We're doing H2. So yeah, there we go. I'm getting my... That's what I wanted, but it's not doing the completion. Something seems wrong there. All right, so H2, and we're going to call this my first post, okay? And then we're going to have some text, paragraph here, and this is going to be lorem ipsum And I'm going to go grab some lorem ipsum text here. And actually I think I saw some I can snag, which is fine with me. Yep. This will work perfectly. I'm just going to copy this text, and we're going to use it inside our p tag here. All right. Command palette, word wrap. I want word wrap on. It makes it easy for me to read and understand. And I can understand over here. It tells me, hey, this is all one line. So, and that is a little small, it looks like. So, view zoom in. So control equals. I thought that's what I did. Maybe not. Oh no, I tried something else. There we go. Okay, that's better. And that's the other reason I want word wrap on, because when I get bigger fonts, I need things to wrap. I tried control scroll wheel is what I typed. Okay, so I do save. Let's go back. And there's our post. Okay. Now, I want to add some styling to this. So, new page. Let's add some styling. So, what do we have to do? I'm going to come back over here. And I have a style tag I can add. Okay. Style scoped. Why did it do scoped? No scope there. Okay, so we're not going to do that. I don't know why it added scoped there. Probably one of my extensions trying to help me out. And how do they do? So, and you just give your style, your normal CSS type styling. And we're going to say, I'm going to call it main, simply because I don't have a better name right now. And we need margin, pardon me. Get that little tickle in your throat. Margin. And we're going to say, so it goes left, top, right, bottom. And we're going to do left, 1 rem, and 0, 0, or 1 rem and 0. I think that works. Let's check it out. No compilation error. Oh, I gotta assign this here. Class equals main. Okay, that didn't work. Why did that work? Did I not do that right? I probably didn't. Let's try this. Oh, I know why it didn't work. There, okay, so now you can see I actually have some spacing. All right, I know how to actually fix what I did wrong. We'll go back to this format. No, I have a couple options here on format. It uses spacing instead of commas to denote the different elements. I could do this, and I should get the same, and I don't. Why not? I'm thoroughly confused. Do I need the commas? Okay. I am thoroughly confused because I thought that totally worked in other stuff. Hey, Snable, What's next after Vue? Getting bored by it now? I am, my friend. Vue is, you know, a lot of stuff I'm doing now is a lot web based. So the Vue stuff is all part of our Jamstack series. So last time I looked a little bit at React and Gatsby, and now today we're looking at Vue and Gridsome. So no, I'm not bored with .NET. Just a little exploration. So this is actually probably going to be my extent. I'm probably going to focus on these two a little bit. Just getting a little bit more familiar with it. But, and yeah, I may pick one and stick with it. I try to learn a little bit. There we go. Okay, that looks good. So yeah, no, I don't know what's going to be next. If there's something you want to explore, I mean, I know you want to explore shaders. I don't know about shaders. Maybe we'll have you on and you can help us out with shaders, Snable. What do you think? You want to come live and tell us all about shaders? We can do that. It also helps me fine tune my guest hosting pieces, which I'm working on doing a lot more of. I need to open up something else here. And okay. There we go. All right, so my posts, there we go. Oh, see, no, Snable's already doing some SMBs over on Snable's been doing shaders on SMB stream. So I don't want to rub that. That's awesome. We'll promote that. So, my friends, if you are following along and you want to learn about shaders, go check out Snable, our friend Snable over on SMB. And so hopefully I get this right. If not, I will correct it. Go check it out on SMB stream. Follow them and learn all about shaders. So did I get this right? Yes, I did. There's our friend SMB. All right. So yes. We're coming up soonish. I think that's awesome. Sorry, I have spam callers coming. That is awesome. I'll have to make sure. Let me know because I'm gonna. Snable, let me know in our Discord whenever you are going to go, and I am going to make sure that we're hosting S&B on that day at that time. Right now, it auto goes through our team, but I want to highlight that one. So, all right. So there's my first post, and so our blog page is just going to be a series of these. So I'm going to create a couple more.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you please repeat what you said?
I'm not sure how I triggered Siri. I bet I have Hey Siri turned on. So, yeah, I do. Yes, please do. Yes, if you have a link to that stream, send it out here. And also, if you don't mind, I'm going to tweet that out as well. I'll hit that tweet up when we're done here. But yes, definitely put that out here. I am all about supporting our fellow streamers, our fellow live coders. And when I say live coders, not just the team itself, but those individuals who are doing live coding. I'm going to copy this. And we're going to say this is my second post. Okay, there's that. And okay. So if I come back to our Gridsome page, hit refresh. Oh, I guess you gotta save it, Ryan. Come back over here. Whoa. Oh, yeah, I have a page. So that's cool. There's your error page in Gridsome. whenever things don't go right. Oh, there it is, my friends. Check it out. Snable put it out there for us. I should probably check this out. I trust Snable, though. Codebase Alpha Stream, yes. Okay. Go check them out to learn more about shaders. Snable's provided us some amazing shaders on stream here, showing off some of his work, and we love it. And I will tell you, Snable, everyone at Kentico, at least everyone on my team, thought that was extremely awesome. The Kentico logo, Infinite Kentico shader you did. Awesome. And we're going to call... I don't know that I need a new style just yet. Refresh. Yeah, so there, it's working now. All right. So now that we've got that, so we've got these, I'm going to go back to my files here. I need a new page for each post, which is going to be the link. So this is just the title of the post and the a little snippet of the first paragraph of code or something, or it could be a little predefined snippet somewhere. But now we want to link to the whole page about the post. So I'm going to create a new file here, and I'm going to call this. I'm just going to say my first post.vue. Okay. And we're going to have a template. It's actually going to be very similar to our other one. So I'm just going to copy this here. That right there. And so what we're doing here, folks, is we're just we're going step by step. We're taking the basics. And a lot of it is because I'm new to Gridsome and I'm new to Vue. And so if I try to put the cart before the horse, things are just going to fall all over themselves, and it's not going to be fun. It's also not going to help us learn any either. Yeah, falling all over myself might be fun for y'all. Not for me though. So we need a new style here. So do the style tag. Close that. Close that. Open that. Close that. Put main. And we want margin dash left. 1 rem. 1 rem. Margin dash right. 1 rem. Okay. And we're going to start there because now I need to create a link. So one thing I noticed on here, the about had some links built into it. It actually used, I believe, a layout. So it's using the default layout, which has a header defined in it, which we don't have components for that yet, but it's going to tell me the links, how I need to do links. Okay. So you get strong, actually, now that I say that, I look at this, okay, I'm missing something here. So let's see if we have any Gridsome extensions. No, there aren't. So that static query one does not get any highlighting. And most likely that's because static query, it's actually defining a local GraphQL query that's going to be run. And that's what this is doing. Static, metadata, site name. So you see that there. And where that's actually defined, I don't know. Huh. Oh. I got it. Is that in here? There it is, right there. Okay. That's where it's getting that from. All right. We're using our powers of observation here today on Developer's Garage. I feel like I'm on a kid show when I say that. All right. So, let's go back to our blog page, and I want to make this a instead of an H1, I want an H1, but I want it to be a G link. Let me look back here at our layout page is where that was. I want to keep that. There we go. I want to keep that open. So I just double clicked it. Otherwise, it was a temporary tab. We're going to do this G link. We have a class nav underscore link. There, that's defined. Okay. So I'm going to copy that. And we're going to come back over here. Let's say that. Come back over here, and we're going to put that right here. Now, align that, and I'm going to cut this. And we're going to paste that there. Okay, all right. And then we are going to have that go to, and I don't need this class because I'm not doing that. So the G-link looks like it takes a 2 parameter, tells you where it's going. And we're going to go to my dash first dashed post. So that should technically work. So if we come back over here to our Gridsome, okay, so there we go. Click on that. Awesome. I didn't finish out I didn't put my ID, my class on there. All right, so we need to put a class equals main. And boom, there we go. Go back. I have that. Now, one thing I want though, I want this to go to blog/myfirstpost. Now, how do we do that? How do we create that secondary structure? I guess I can go to Gridsome here and I can look at my linking. Let's look at the linking documentation. External pages, okay. Between pages, external pages, anchor tags. Link with variable path. Does my pages have anything about... Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. So, from what I'm gleaming off this, I need to create a new folder because it doesn't look like it comes out right out and says it. But I'm going to put this as blog. And I'm going to move this under here. Yes, I want to move that. All right. So, coming in here, I need to adjust that link because I'm hoping that's how this works. I want to create that. I want my casing to be the same. Lowercase on our URLs. Right, so that should be reloaded. And it goes to blog/my-first-post. So click on it. Boom, there it goes. Now, if I remove this, not found. Okay, that's what I expected. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Now we can do that exact same thing for our second one. And then I think we're going to be ready to move on to some more complex concepts here, where we start using layouts and some, maybe some components. We'll see. I need to rename that because that needs to be a Vue file. Vue. Okay. And I'm actually, honestly, just going to copy here. And we're going to paste here. And change this to my second post. Okay. Now we need to go update our link and our blog page. And again, we're going to copy. And we're going to replace. This becomes second. And this becomes second. All right. I think I got everything updated. Now I'm doing this the hard way, the old-fashioned way. And that's on purpose because I want to create a scenario, a base that we're going to work from to start using the power of static site generators. So we have how we would kind of almost define this as all static HTML pages. Nothing really reusable yet, but that's where we're getting to next. So let's just make sure this all works. I'm going to go back here. Okay, second post. Got it. Oh, too far back. Blog. First post still works. Second post works. All right. So now let's get into some layouts here. And I'm trying to think of how I want to do this, where I want to start. So we have a main layout that we use for all, that we're using for the blog. And so let's do that. So the blog itself, we're using these divs mains. So if I look at my posts and all here, we have a layout and then we have a content inside that. So let's go ahead and we're reusing main. So let's simplify now and remove that piece from it. So I'm going to go back to our grid. So I'm going to start with the documentation, like I should, instead of just kind of guessing how this is going to work. So every layout requires a slot, and that's where the page's content is going to be inserted. So that's good to know. Use layout. So if I have, so that's a global layout, but I want to make a different layout. Deadend008, thanks for the follow. Glad you're here. Give us a shout in the chat room. Say hey. Let us know kind of why you're here. What do you want to learn? What's some exciting stuff you're working on right now? Passing props. I want to give it a new name. So I want to use a different name inside my layout. I don't want a master layout. I want a child layout, I guess is what I want to say. So import layout from, okay. So when you've created a layout, you need to import it to your pages and templates. This is done by doing that. Awesome. Okay, I can do that. So I can go create my layout now. I'm confident now. If I look at my about page again, it did not import those. But I'm going to be optimistic here, and we're going to say we can import them and use it. We're going to create a new layout. We're going to call this, blog layout. .view. And if I look at the default layout we have here, you can see they have the header and all that, and there's that slot we were talking about, and there's their styles. So we're going to do this exact similar thing here. It's going to be a lot simpler than that. So with all these, we always start out with a template tag. I'm going to start out with my div class equals main. Denon, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today? I'm a little, I'm doing pretty good, I should say. I still have some sinus stuff I'm working to get over, but we'll get there. /div. All right. Then I know I need a slot in here, so we're going to do our slot. I think that's going to be just about it. Now I need to add my style here. Okay. There's something to that, but that's a little more advanced view than I'm thinking here. So, main, that's what we want to do. Dot main. Close that puppy out. And we're going to add margin dash left 1 rem, excuse me, margin dash right colon 1 rem. Okay, and now I want to use it in my blog layout here. So let's look at how we're going to do that. There's blog view. All right, so we're going to replace this. We're going to replace this with a layout tag. And close the layout tag out. Now, really what I want to do is I want to be able to say name. I want the layout's name or whatever. But I don't seem to have that. So let's go back because that's going to use our default layout. And I want to use a different layout than that one. So I import it so I can give it that specific one here. Import it into your pages and templates. This is done by using in the script tag. Okay. So we need a script tag here. Okay, there's an export default. We're not going to use that, but we're going to import layout from dot slash layouts slash blog dash layout close. Okay, so that should give us, so I actually want to put dot view. I'm going to do that. I'm going to save that, and now we're going to come look at our page again. Okay, so that's actually using the different layout. That's not using the default layout, the imported layout. No, it's not. And the reason I know that's because A, we've got a header here, which I didn't create on my layout, and it's the margins. So, all good here. How do we define? I'm telling it that's the one we want to use, but it's not doing that. So this is probably I bet there's a global thing here. Oh, where's my sounds here, Ryan? All right. I think there's I've got conflicting layouts, and the global one is winning. So I think that's our problem. Oh my. Yeah, I think this is not gonna, what if I do this? Call this layout 2. Nope. Let's check this out. What if I call this layout 2? That layout 2, and I save that. Is it going to work like I want it to now? Or is it going to say, nope, you're wrong. I don't like that. Okay, so it doesn't know what layout 2 is, but it tells me that I have no idea what I'm doing here. So the documentation is not leading me where I want to go. You can use layout anywhere in your Gridsome project without... That's making it global. I don't want it to be global, or do I? So let's, maybe I have to make it global. I don't, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so that's defining that there. I wonder if there was a piece missing. I wonder if I have to do this. And if I come do this. And I'm probably missing an import. No. Oh, I need this, though, to come in. Have that come in. Okay. Maybe that will work for that. Or did I just break everything? Because that's what it kind of looks like. Yeah, I broke it. Let's not do that. Let's not do that again. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, I don't want to make it the default layout. I just want to... Oh, gosh, my hands are off the home row key here. Okay. Am I getting conflictions because of that? Nope. All right, so let's go. That's not what we want to do. But I do want to do this, I believe. So we need this import. So let's come over to our main.js. Let's import this. I see it. I see what I did wrong. I get it now. I get the way this function is working here, this component function. You're giving it the name, and I want to call it layout2, and then I'm giving it the import that I'm bringing in. Okay. All right. I think, so what I need here is just layout2. Okay, now I closed our page here. Let's reopen it. I'm going to look at here. Did I get any... No exceptions that I see during compilation, but from what I've gathered, since Vue is a SPA application, it's all runtime. There is some static generation, but it's what I'm doing right now is not part of that. So http://localhost 8080. There's Gridsome. And then we're going to do blog. And it didn't work again. And it rerouted back out. So this, for some reason, is not working. And maybe this is something we can only do on the main page. Like, what if I want multiple layouts? You can create a master layout by adding a app.vue file to the source root. This will let you keep your header footer on all pages and add page transitions. Okay, but you're not telling me how to do this. Oh. Okay. It's a little bit different. So I did this. But, all right, let's try this again. We're going to change this a little bit. Get rid of this piece. I'm going to get rid of this piece. And let's use this syntax here. Components. Layout 2. Okay, but this needs this. All right. because life is rough here. There we go. Okay. That was way more painful than it needed to be. Way, way more painful. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. That documentation's got to get better. Because that just doesn't... Because you're using a lot of these default terminologies here. And when you already have that implemented someplace else, it hurts. So if I change this to, does it still work if I do this? Is this overriding the default layout when I do it this way? Yeah, see, it's not. It's confusing the darn out of it. So I could actually call this, and I probably should, call this blog layout. Blog layout, and then change that to that. Save, and there it goes. So now we get our layout back the way we want it. Okay. Yeah, that's got to be much better. It's been 2 years since I've used Vue. Looks like a lot has changed. I'll be honest, I don't know. Probably has. I've never used Vue. This is my first go at using Vue. And to be honest, I don't know how much of this is my lack of knowledge. Is this Vue stuff here? Is this what Vue does? And it's not a Gridsome issue? Because I'm actually trying to use Gridsome, which uses Vue. So maybe is this layout concept a Vue thing, or is it a Gridsome thing? I don't know. And I wish they made that a little more clear, especially for people not coming from Vue. Okay, so now that we have that, so we've got that piece. So now I want to actually see, can I go and add this to this main JS piece? Because I don't want to have to define this in all my different layouts. Because I'm going to use this over here on the post layout as well, the post. At least for right now. So I'm going to see, can we make this global? So if I come back here and I'm going to copy this. Now we have run it in between one page. Let's bring it over and use it in another page. Vue.component. And we're going to call this blog layout. And we're going to use blog layout. And I'm going to come over and I'm going to get rid of all of this. Control KC. Whoa! Not what I wanted to do. Control X. Let's just get rid of it. Save that. Let's come back to our page here. And it didn't work. Oh my. Oh, I didn't save it, Ryan. You gotta save the thing, my friend. Oh, there we go. Yep, that's okay. I understood that error. I just copy and paste. Woohoo! There we go. Yes. My. All right, yes. So yeah, I didn't let it play all out, but we celebrate because we have a win there. We figured that out. We can create different layouts that we can use across. We can globalize it. So now I can come over here. I'm going to replace all of this with blog layout. So a lot less code that I have to actually have inside my pages here, and I can get rid of style. I'm going to empty style out because I don't need it yet. And so I want that. That works good. This one. There we go. Fix this out. Blog layout. Get rid of these styles. Save. And it doesn't like it. Tag blog layout has no match. Where did I mess up? Mess up here? Nope, that's all good. Mess up there. Nope, I messed up there. I forgot. I took out the closing tag. All right. There we go. Okay. Everything looks good. Okay. 1 second here. Clean out my sinuses again. All right, we're back. Ooh. Feels better. Stops the ears up just for a second. Okay, so now we're doing that piece. We have our post. What else can we do here? I'm trying to figure out how much further I want to take working with Gridsome. So we have the template here. Do I want to do that? I'm debating, do I want to take my header and make a component out of it? I don't think so. What I think I want to do is I want to create a component. That's what I want to do. I'm going to make this a component. And make it a post heading component. Blog post heading component. Which is just going to take in a parameter. And that parameter is going to just set that there. So let's create a new component. And we're going to call this blog post heading .view. Okay. I'm guessing I'm going to need my traditional template. Ooh, I'm getting completion now. I don't know why that's working like that now. And then I don't know what to. Oh, I do know what I need. I'm going to need that. I'm just going to paste that in there. Okay, because now I need two parameters actually. I need a title and a link. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to look at the documentation again, and we're going to look at components. So here's an example of a file we'll call card. Inside source components. Okay. It has some methods. Not a lot of information here telling me about what's going on, but we'll see what we've got here. Message. There's a button. On click calls the on click. I want a little bit more because I want to pass something into our method here, our component. I want to pass information to our component. And you're not giving me that. That seems like the core thing you want to do. You create components, but you want to make them reusable. You want to pass stuff into them. Does it want me to use a query here? Oh man. Hang on. I gotta be right back. I gotta do something real quick. All right, we're back. Okay, sorry, had something I needed to take care of real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna say Vue.js pass data to component. All right, maybe I'm not the only one here sharing data across VueJS components. So again, this is where I struggle, is because Gridsome's documentation is not helping me out with the Vue piece. I think it's expecting me to know all of this, and that's not what I want. I do want to pass data through props. Okay, there we go. This helps me out here. Script import user detail. Name Lucas. That's used there. All right, we're gonna try this. We're gonna look at this here. Whoa, I hit something I shouldn't have. But I want it. It's not showing me the piece above where this is actually components used. Now, in the parent component, we need to pass the data to our child component using a vbind tag attribute. This attribute value must be the same name to the one defined on the child component's props. So inside the props, we define the child component needs to declare the props. Okay, so this is the child component. I wish there was more to it, but evidently there's not. That's okay. Okay. Data function return name Lucas components app user D. Okay. This is where I feel like Gridsome could help us out here. Let's go to the Vue. Let's go to the Vue documentation here. Maybe this is going to be better. Okay, reusing components, that's fine. I want data must be a function. Okay, instead of a component's data option must be a function. An independent copy, okay. Passing data, okay, here we go. Vue.component, define the component, the props on it, and a template. Yeah, that's, I get that, but I want to use something different. This I get, this I understand. This is where we'll get to. Excuse me. Yeah, no, give me a different. That's what it is. Okay, so pardon me. I'm reading here. I really should be explaining what I'm reading here. This is definitely goes into much more complex stuff on actually the inner workings of Vue. Which it's good if you're a Vue person. This all makes sense to you. For a non-Vue person, this does not make sense to me. But I'm starting to understand. I can define the props, but I want to define the props within my component file, not within the definition, my registration of the component, which was down in somewhere in here. I did a registration. Yes, right here. It registered the component. Okay. So I think I can combine these two to understand what's going on here. So I need this piece. And I need to bring that into here. And I need some pretty printing going on here. And yes, I know there's probably a hotkey for this, but I don't know it, and that's out of scope for right now. Because I'm actually going to have to finish up pretty soon because I got to leave soon. I'm gonna have to end this stream probably sooner than I want to, but we're gonna get this component working, and that is where we're gonna leave off on Vue today. So that is our goal, and I have not long to do it, but we will do it. Okay, there's that, and we're gonna call this post title. Post title. And we're going to do this one down here. We're going to call this post JSON. Do that. Post link. And then we're going to put a type. I'm going to call this string. And required is true. Okay. So I don't want that. So we're giving the post title a post link. Those are the props we're going to use here. So let's come back over here and see how we actually use these. Because that's my next question, is how do I use these within my my component? So it looks like I use handlebars here. So I understand handlebars. So let's try that. Handlebars. Title. Post title. Oh, it gives me that. And we're going to try this again here. We're going to call this post link. Does that work within there? Maybe I don't need those. Maybe this will work. No, it doesn't like that. Does single ticks work? Maybe that works. We'll try it. We'll see what happens here. If any of you in the chat room are Vue people and understand Vue, and if I've got that wrong, please let me know so I can fix it. Otherwise, we'll find out shortly. Because we're passing things down. Okay. So we've got our component defined. Now I need to use that within my blog here. So I'm actually going to need a... where did you... So there's that. Vue.component. I need to register this component, don't I? So let's do that. Let's go to our main.js and Vue.component, and we're going to call this blog post heading. And that's it. So let's see if we broke our page. If I refresh it, nope, our page's still there. It still works. Okay. So now let's try to use this blog post heading inside our blog. So I'm just going to take this first one. Ooh. Blog post heading. And you know what? I think I'm going to have to do something a little bit differently here to register this. Okay. Because I think I do need to do, in my main.js, I need to import that in. Post heading from components / component. Is it component or components? Components / blog post heading .vue. And why doesn't it like that? Equals what? Oh, from Ryan. From. There we go. And I think I need to put this here. Okay, the required parameters were not there. Okay, that's what we wanted to see. Is it what we wanted to see? No, because I haven't saved it yet. What is that complaining about? Sorry, the wife's texting me. Post link. Interpolation inside attributes has been removed. Use v-bind or the colon shorthand instead. For example, instead of that, you use... Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you. That helps out a ton when I'm doing this. So we're going to use the shorthand here to... Okay, so that should work. There we go. Okay, so that's good. So here we need to add post title equals that, post link equals that. All right. Little copy and paste here. Got that there. Okay. So that should be it. And it works. And that's it. That's okay. And so now I changed this to the same thing. Blog post heading. Equals. Okay, so I'm getting it. I'm getting this stuff. It's starting to make sense here in the old noggin. Post link equals that. A little more. I should actually just be able to do that. Let's try that syntax and see if that works. There is some additional syntax that you have to learn. So that's one of the things. Is my learning curve on this is different. Because I did not get used to the Vue syntax, and quite honestly, out of the box, it's not as apparent to me what that is supposed to be or what that's supposed to do. And the documentation on the Gridsome site, which was my basis for all this, doesn't go, in my opinion, enough into the Vue side of it. And some of the what I would consider more common scenarios. So refresh, and there it is. So that's all using my header. Okay. Awesome. Ooh, I'm getting chills here. Do I have time for one more thing? Do I have just one more thing? Do I have time for it? And more it's going to be is collections now. If I have a collection of information, such as this post information, can I, and this may be, it looks like it may be a little bit more, in depth than what I want, because it's not quite clear. My initial idea was to have my data there on that blog page, to start there and use our for to generate part of the page, but I don't see that out of the box here. Because really what I want to try to see is, like, I have information here, but I don't see how I can create the page, or pieces of the page, I guess I should say. Okay, that's all right. Maybe it's a Vue thing. I have a couple minutes here. List rendering, is that what I want to do? Okay, so it is a Vue thing. Okay, so use a v-for. All right, we're going to give it a shot here. One last thing. I know I said the other thing was going to be our last, but I actually got done with that a little quicker than I thought. We're going to try this. We're going to take this and we're going to dump that into some static data we have here. And then we're going to loop over that. And that way I don't have to keep copying and pasting that. All right. That's that syntax I don't get, but that doesn't, it's not making sense to me. I guess because it's not a whole page. I can't see it as a component. So I'm going to try and piece these together. I know I'm jumping around. It probably tells me a lot more about it in some of these other areas. But it's not telling me, it's not showing me. So probably over here in some of these pieces that I've skipped over. I'm a developer. That's what I do. I read the little piece of information that gets me to my goal as quick as possible. Most people don't have time to go and read the entire thing. So I think we have to have a static data? Is that what I said earlier? It was the about that had that in it. Where did the index have some just now that I missed? Had some extra stuff there. But the about had some more information there. That meta info is for the head, I believe. All right, we can do this. Let's look at... That's in a script block. That's what that is. Has to be in a script block. Do I have a script block? No. Okay. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it in here. Expected. That doesn't like that. Maybe this isn't. A colon expected. So what it was expecting me to do was this and that. Okay. So we're going to start with, we're going to say post, and then we're going to say, this is posts. And inside our post, we're going to have a little bit more complex structure here. And this is going to be title. And this is going to be body. And we need a link, don't we? Yep. And a link. Or some of the other terminology I'm learning is slug, a URL slug. Okay. And maybe that's not it. I don't know. Okay, so that's what I believe we're going to need. Okay. We're going to copy this. Yep. And we're going to paste it in here. All right. That looks very ugly formatting, but that's not, that should still be acceptable. So let's see, does my site actually break? That breaks actually. That didn't like something. And it's not going to tell me what it doesn't like either. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to come back to our Gridsome docs real quick. See if I can't figure some of this out. Export default name. Okay, so it gives me the name. Data. Ooh, data. Tell me how to define a collection real here quick. Nope. This hurts. Maybe we won't get to this. Maybe I won't get this done simply because I cannot figure out how to define things in here. Set up multiple templates for a class. That's not what I want to do. I want to work with data. Working with data. Well, there you go, Ryan. I want to work with static data right now. So that's plugins. I don't want that. I want to use with static from my file here. Metadata? Is that what I want? There's that static query. That may be what I want right here. So maybe this is what I want to define, a static query. So let's come back here. And let's not do it in the script, but let's do it in a static query. Metadata, and I don't want to call it metadata though. Can I use something besides metadata? Add metadata. I'm just going to come through these real quick because I'm not seeing what I want to see right now. Query data and page components. That's what we're going to be doing. But I want the data to live within the component itself right now. And I think they want me to take it a step out and put it in someplace else, which I'm not a fan of. Importing data is to use source plugins. Yep. All right. This is where we're going to pick up next time. So I will be back on Monday. Even though if you're looking below and you're like, oh, his schedule's Wednesday and Friday. No, I'm Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting next week. So Monday we're going to be back. We're going to be looking at this. We're going to be figuring out how we can query data here. I think I'm going to have to create a different file, store it in JSON, which is fine. I can do that. Not what I wanted to do, but we can do it. That's going to be it for today, my friends. I have an appointment here shortly, and I need to get some lunch. It's 1 o'clock here, and I'm hungry. So you all have a good weekend. Enjoy it. Hopefully it's nice weather, or maybe you get some snow. I would like some snow, but that's not happening. It's just cold and actually kind of rainy. So it's kind of miserable here. But go and enjoy it. Be with your family. Be with your friends. Have a good time. Join me here next Monday at what are we going to say? I'm going to say 12 p.m. CST if you're in the US, or 6 off, 6 p.m. UTC or GMT on Monday. Thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you learned something. I am. I'm also learning how much I don't know. So, but we're gonna remedy that. We're gonna learn some more here. So join me next time to learn a little bit more about Vue, exploring Vue, so you know, is this something we want to look at, or something we're like, no, this is not for us. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the chat. Hit me up on Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. Or go to overton.dev. That's going to be, I'm going to put the link here in the chat. Overton.dev. And there are a few different ways to get a hold of me from that link. So thanks, everyone. Have a good day, good evening, good morning, wherever you're at. And I'll talk to you on Monday. Peace.